Okay, we're live on two of the Facebook pages. We're live on YouTube. Looks like one of them's having a little problem. Let me just redo it. Yeah, it's on. All right. All righty. Let me just play the intro, allow people time to come in, and then we'll get Gregg Prescott up here from IN5D, my brother. Let's get Gregg Prescott up here. Welcome, everybody. We are live on our three Facebook pages, in the Zoom room, and on YouTube, Soldier One Studios channel. I'm looking forward to talking to Gregg because he's been in this a long time. Let me just see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Anyway, everyone knows Gregg's been in the game a long time. There's a lot of interesting topics on the table. So let's, let me just get them up here. Hang on. Start video. Unmute. You good? You hear me? Oh, shit, I can't hear you. Oh, wait, I got you. Wait. Okay, we got you.
All right.
What's going on, man? What's happening? There's a lot of amazing stuff going down right now, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. We just had that big WikiLeaks drop that I'm sure you got inboxed by 5,000 people.
What's that? What happened?
Did you not? Oh my gosh. Well, just about everybody on my friends list, it seems like, inboxed me.
Inboxed you the yeah
about the WikiLeaks drop, and then Wilcock had his video last night about that.
Who was that?
David Wilcock.
Oh, that's right. I saw the very end of that. I came in on the very end of it. And so you're like the one person I'd want to talk to about this subject, because you tend to, you never let your guard down. You've got that curiosity like I do, that data's out there, so to speak. So for a reason, and at the same time, you're like, you're just like, you're like me. You're the last one to be sold. But I wanted to bring it up like this and lead into it like this. So a lot of people's intel has been converging this year, especially. And if I just look at, for instance, Franco and Jason Estes, Amanda Lawrence, Sandra Walter, I mean, a lot of people that are not as visible, that maybe don't make videos. I read one, I think the lady's name was Linda Liu yesterday. Morgan showed it to me, Linda Lee. But anyway, what I'm getting at is, and even in what Morgan and I received like 2-3 nights ago, which was there was going to be like a 20% increase across the board in, I guess you could use a lot of different words, disclosure, higher skills and abilities, and so on. Jason's post this morning was basically stating that as of today, or between now and the end of the month, that we'll go from 10% disclosure to 30% disclosure. And of course, these are all metaphoric and energetic explanations. But here we have the WikiLeaks drop. We've got, you know, the funding taken away from the World Health Organization. We got Bill Gates getting bombarded, Marina Abramovich, whatever her name is, just being stupid and getting an article in the New York Times. But what does that mean to the common people? I mean, it looks like there is a trend occurring in the external world that we share where there's more and more disclosure. At the same time, it's creating a couple of things. One, obviously, with the coronavirus, there's this fear-based programming that's obvious, you know. And then on the other end, there's almost like a savior-based programming that we're familiar with too, you know, through religion and nationalism and that type of thing. And that'd be the Q movement and things like that. And, you know, here we are trying to integrate in this beautiful realm we call Mother Earth. And we know that at some point, everything is the same. Everything is one, all aspects of dark and light. But this is getting really interesting. So yeah, I'll lead in with it like that. What are your views? What are your thoughts? Where are you coming from?
I agree. Next question. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's like an interviewer's worst nightmare, is a person that just goes, "Yep."
I had one of those one time.
Would you please?
I'm lucky. In 1,800 shows, I've had one. I mean, I remember one. It was like pulling teeth for an hour.
That was the last time I was on, perhaps.
No, the last time you were on, I was in Hawaii. We went like 2 hours, man. It was like it was a lot like it is right now. Actually, there was a lot of movement energetically in the field, and we just happened to connect on that day. And I remember that show.
Well, it's like when I had you on mine, I had you on for like 2 hours also.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's funny. I want to thank you, first of all, for having this format and encouraging other people like me to do the same. And you know, I've been doing something similar to you, but a little bit different, you know, with the spirit chat. As a matter of fact, I'll be having one right after this at 3 o'clock. But I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank you for inadvertently introducing me to Alison Janes.
I didn't know that. I was going to congratulate you, and congratulations on your new relationship, but I didn't know I introduced you to her. How did that happen?
Well, it happened in January when we had that beach meetup. So I went through your friends list.
Yeah.
And let me preface this beforehand. Back in 2007, 2008 or so, I had this dream where I met my twin flame. And the only thing I remembered about her were her eyes, her nose, and her smile. But it was burned into my mind. Yeah. And because I had saw her in my dream, I always thought she was on the other side of the veil, that she didn't incarnate with me. So I'm going through, flash forward to January of this past year. I'm going through your friends list after we made that agreement to have a beach meetup, because I wanted to make sure that anyone that sent me a friend request that was one of your friends, that I would be friends with them. So I went through your friends list and I'm adding everybody as friends. You know, I've got like 1,000 people backed up on my own list.
Right.
I go through each personality, each profile, and look at each one before I add them. I just don't add people. But I was going through yours, and I was just adding anyone that was on your list because I trust, well, you know, if they're friends with you, they're friends with me. And I was going through and I was adding people. And as I was scrolling through, I saw Alison's picture.
Wow.
And the eyes, the nose, the smile, it was her. And I just gasped. I'm like, she's here. I didn't expect that. So I sent her a friend request, and we kind of went back and forth, you know, more me than her. So initially she kind of stalked me in my dreams, and then I kind of stalked her in real life.
Yeah, that was my template too.
But yeah, so I, you know, eventually made a schedule. I scheduled a reading with her because she does tarot and she's wonderful at tarot. So I eventually had a reading with her, and we just went off tangentially on so many things. It's supposed to be an hour reading. It went well over 2 hours, and we just took things from there. And it's just everything we have in common. Every possible facet of our personality is identical. So there's absolutely no doubt with her. So I have to give you credit though for it.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. I mean, I feel I just have this thing with you. I don't know what it is. I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. It's like
Yeah, we have a
two
connection.
pieces. Yeah, it's like two pieces of a puzzle fit together. And I remember hearing stories about, right, bringing star
Star
family.
family, brother.
But I remember hearing stories. Laura, I think her name's Laura Hazel, the one that works with the
Yep.
Dolphins,
Yep.
and you and some other people that are less visible that were all in that area where you're at. And then we end up getting that conference, our first conference that we ever did, and we're right up, right up the street. And wow, we had that spontaneous gathering under the tree, and then we had another one, and yeah, it's just been really cool. But yeah, I'm glad to be a part of it, and I think that's what these platforms do. And I just want to tell everybody, I do a lot of shows, but this man, he puts as many hours a day, if not more, actually, into broadcasting and bringing these, bringing our experiences together. And he does a hell of a job with it. I think most of them are in the evening. You usually put in like 3 to 4 hours in the evening straight with a group chat. And it's really cool. If you ever just, I've just turned it on, like when I'm doing work, and just listen, and everybody has a voice, and it's a very cool platform. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure, brother. Just real quick, I want to point this out real quick while we have a chance,
Mm-hmm.
because I wrote an article about it earlier. We can see that the Schumann resonance is
Yeah.
still going
Oh,
strong
is this
right now.
current?
Yeah, right now. This is as of 1 minute ago
Holy
when I clicked it.
shiitake mushrooms. No
Yeah.
wonder Morgan's having physical ramifications. But there was another one that I guess would have been, what, if we go back like 24 hours, it was like
Yes.
ran for 48 hours.
Oh my gosh. Well, this
And I
one,
don't, yeah,
I think this is peaking out. I can't really read that right there. I'm going to throw it into Paint Shop
yeah.
real quick. Um, oh my God.
And
Yeah. 140. Look at that. 140. We're peaking at right there.
wow.
Yeah, that's the second highest I've seen. I just put an article out on IN5D.
Right on.
Bam, white out with near record Schumann frequencies.
Wow.
A year ago, we had the record at 150.
Yeah.
We hit 150 on the amplitude, but we're at 140 right now. So who knows? It could actually go higher than that. But I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah. And can you, I mean, because,
Reporting.
I've seen different explanations on the Schumann resonance. And the way I look at it, when those numbers start going up, it doesn't really matter, because something's happening, because it usually matches what's going on. But what's the deal with the whiteouts? I mean, that I remember a couple of days ago, somebody put up a post and they said, oh, it's been 48 straight hours. And they had the picture like you did of the whiteout. What is that usually, or what, is there anything that you know about that?
High energetic frequencies are coming in right now. And people react to that differently. Some people, it knocks their asses out. Other people, it just gives them a lot of energy. Myself, I feel the energy from it. I'm like, it feels like I drank, a pot of coffee. To be honest, I've never made a pot of coffee in my life. I have no idea how to make coffee. I don't. I drink water. That's my beverage. So, but yeah,
Man.
that's
Smart
what.
man.
Well, you and I were talking about that at the meetup. How now is the time for people to get rid of their addictions. And through my heart attack that I had last year, quit smoking like that. That was pretty to do.
Yeah, that's right. We did talk about that, because we had just gotten like a couple of months before we saw you, a few weeks before we saw you, we'd gotten some series of downloads about addictions. Morgan did a great post on it, and it went in. The explanation we got in the transmission was, it goes much deeper than what we think are addictions, like food and sex and drugs and rock and roll and smoking and drinking. It was actually the energetic addiction frequency, or whatever you want to call it, that comes in so many different ways, including, being on your phone all the time and, surfing the net. But yeah, it is a good time to do it. And I have a feeling that we're not, well, I don't have a feeling. I know we don't have a choice. It's that let go or be dragged thing. And, you can either go through it easy, or you can face the facts,
Yeah, I still haven't answered your initial question.
Oh, we can get back to it. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that is going on right now. It's like all culminating. And the most fascinating thing, one of the most fascinating correlations, actually there are several, but one of the most fascinating ones that I found is that, through this being quarantined, when, I don't know if you remember this guy, his name was Jose Arguelles. He was one of the founders of the was that harmonic convergence back in 1987? It's one of the,
I
he was
remember
one.
that name. I'm trying to remember. Somebody's been on the show talking about him.
Yeah, well, he investigated Lord Pakal's tomb, this Mayan leader, way back in the day. And the number one thing he got from that was that we need to live without time. Now, I noticed that most of us in this genre, we don't wear watches. We don't really know what
Yeah.
time it is anyway. And most of us try to live without time. But, that's why I don't have any specific scheduling for IN5D Spirit Chat, because who knows? Maybe I'll have one tonight. Maybe I won't. I'm not going to force myself into having that
I
and
like
living
that.
by the structures of time. But what's happening now is that because of this quarantine, so many people have no idea what day it is anymore,
Right.
let alone the date or day. I'm lucky I remembered that I had a show with you today.
I was going to send you a message. The same thing happens to me, you know. Same thing
Yeah.
happens to me. I was sleeping 5 minutes before the first show today. So I was like, holy crap. But
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes I can't even, I have to like literally talk to myself and say, what month is this? And I draw a blank. I'll be
Yeah.
like, and I'm past, something's wrong with me thing. I just figure it out and move on.
In the YouTube chat, people are coming up with all sorts of different symptoms that they're feeling. Some people are feeling shaky. Some people
Yeah.
are sleeping more, and it all depends on the individual. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're gonna get
Yeah.
what you need, I think, and we're getting downloads within those energy frequency updates.
Yeah, and I got one yesterday morning. I guess it had been going on for like 3 days, and I won't get into the full blown part of it. I posted on it, and a lot of people resonated with it, similar to what you're talking about, like acknowledging what's going on. But the thing that I got, and of course, I'm married to a shadow eater, and so it's very familiar to me, the process of integrating. But the importance of it, just to me, it's like in our face now. It's like if you want to have a smooth ride, if you want to smooth the edges out, just keep on, as things are presented, if somebody makes you uncomfortable or you don't like somebody, keep pulling them up, keep pulling them up, keep pulling them. And I think that's what's so incredible about what's happening collectively, because there's this huge contrast of things that are occurring. Everything's going to the extreme. We haven't even, if 10% or 15% of disclosure has occurred, 30% is going to look like, and 50. And then, this is going to be huge. And of course, I'm talking to the guy that said at the end of the last year, hey, you're not going to be able to recognize the
Earth
world
as we know
by
it
the,
will be unrecognizable.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
we're already there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because Allie does these free weekly tarot card readings on her YouTube channel, and I share them on my IN5D channel as well. But she saw this commonality coming up within all these, just about every different sign. There was like 3 different cards that she kept seeing over and over and over again, pointing to the middle of the week, toward the middle of the week of something really big happening. So we had the WikiLeaks drop,
Yeah.
and we also had the Schumann resonance blast. So it's fascinating to see how stuff like this comes up in people's cards as well.
Yeah. And it's amazing too, because, if you look at, we know the mainstream media is controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at, if you go to Drudge Report, you go to CNN or whatever, and you look at and it's like a false flag kind of frequency, like, oh man, this is just like. But then on the other hand, and then of course in social media, you've got them all over the board. You've got nurses making this and doctors saying this, and we watched a video shortly last night in Ireland where there was I don't know if it was a county or whatever they have over there, but the people were protesting. Lawyers were representing them, saying shutdown or whatever is not lawful. We want it stopped. We want it overturned. And I think you're seeing some of those happening around the world. So it's really interesting with all the different dynamics. It's a really good time where you're forced, because of the isolation, to learn a greater discernment. I don't know how else to put it.
I talked to my daughter. I did a video chat with my daughter Brittany yesterday in New York, and apparently they're talking about lifting the restrictions there on May 1st. The beaches here,
Yeah.
Sarasota, Siesta Key, are
Are they
opening up.
open?
They're
They
opening
are?
up on Monday.
Yeah.
Restricted wise, they say you can't bring a chair, you can't bring an umbrella, you can just walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm okay
You,
with that.
you can
Um,
fish, swim, walk, and run. You can
yeah.
exercise, but you can't lay down and get a tan,
No.
which
No.
is
So
kind of
just
weird.
keep walking.
And if it's like the ones in northern Florida, you can only go for 4 hours in the first part of the day and 4 hours in the latter part of the day. In
Oh,
the
is that
middle of
what
the
they have
day,
in Jacksonville? Is that
yeah,
what they're doing?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 8 to 1, and then like like 4 to 8 or something like that.
But in several beaches south of us, the beaches are open completely.
Wide open. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's not as many people down there. I don't know. I mean, and that's the other thing. It's all over the place. One day you hear that the governors, like Georgia's going to, pull the restrictions off, and then they get backing. The next day they're not. They're not supporting. So it's really just kind of a cluster f. I mean, it's just like, okay, what do I follow here? To thine own self be true. I mean, there's just, where else can you go?
Within.
Yeah, that's what I mean. To thine own self be true. I mean, well,
Yeah.
what other choice do we have, and what is the one thing we've either been avoided or persuaded, pulled away from through the conditioning and the, all the matrix machinations.
Yeah. That's it. That's the truth. That's probably the last thing that the controllers want us to do is to go within, right?
Yeah, but if you look at for me anyway, I can't speak for anyone else. I can't, because there's so much information out there, and it's just like a big whirlpool of different frequencies, like getting sucked down a bathtub drain. But to me, it's like that, whatever we call that 1% cabal, whatever, fourth dimensional, whatever it is, I can see it's fading, and it's fading fast. It's really fading fast,
Mm-hmm.
because people are like going, hey, this just doesn't make any sense. And that right there, when people start questioning stuff, that creates change.
Well, Todd, I just got into a discussion kind of with somebody that was posting on I made a post on my personal Facebook page, and this person came in and basically said, how dare you bring this kind of stuff up? You're bringing attention to this, whatever it was that I was talking about, and blah, blah, blah. And where attention goes, attention flow, all that. And I kind of went off back at her saying that, you know what, I do appreciate people that are just going to hold space, hold the light.
Yeah.
They're playing an important role, and I greatly appreciate them. But some of us are galactic warriors, and we go into the trenches. We go and get down and dirty, and we're there with a helping hand, reaching out for people that are just waking up. Because eventually, like you were mentioning, people are questioning everything right now. Eventually, they're going to question, why am I here? What is my life purpose? That's where you and I come in. Hey,
Yeah.
come aboard, follow
Yeah.
us. We can
Yeah.
show
You're
you
not
some things.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
These things do exist.
yeah,
We can help them get over the shock and the wow, the
yep,
shock and the awe. Right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
and then, a number of people, I read a post last night, and Morgan's been talking about it for as long as I've known her, and I think longer, that at some point we were all going to be put to work.
Mm-hmm.
And the post I read last night, I think it was Linda Lee, or Lisa Lee. I can't, and I apologize for not knowing. I think it's Linda Lee, Li. And very, very, just kind of in the background kind of lady. You don't see her on video, but evidently I checked out her page. She does a lot of stuff, has a lot of powerful followers too. But anyway, she was talking about that. She was saying, it's done. It's time. Get ready, because it's time to go to work. There's going to be many, many people needing. And she went on to explain, and this was a transmission. She went on to explain that some people will do it like in a format like this. Some people will do it locally. Some people will do it globally, in different ways. Some people will just do it by the example of their energy. But that feels very real to me. It's, and you've been doing this a long time. How do you feel about it? How do you feel? Do you feel the change coming? How do you feel about what's coming? What's your
Well,
intuition?
I did that New Year's Eve prediction show, and like we were talking about before, one of the things I predicted was that by the end of the year it'll be unrecognizable from the way it was last year. I think we've gone to a place right now. We created a node point in our evolution, kind of like 9/11. It's huge. This is a node point, but what is happening with this, we're all learning how to go within. We're learning to live without time. It's a huge point in our
Yeah,
evolution right
yeah,
now. So um, I just kind of feel like, this is moving forward on that show. Also made the prediction that by June, I believe in June is when we'll see the majority of these 153,000 sealed indictments being
Yeah.
unsealed. And
Yeah.
we're getting hints of that it's the ball's already in motion right now. And it may take some time for that to happen. But when that happens, life as we know it, we thought this was different. And man, life as we know it from that point, every one of your favorite actors and
Mm,
musicians,
mm.
you're going to look
That
at them and think,
that David Rodriguez video was pretty cool. Laura Eisenhower's was very cool. David Rodriguez, I watched some of it, but
yes,
one of the things that he said, because he's, you know, he's a pro athlete, and then I guess he got into doing some movies and stuff for new people in Hollywood, and he said that he, you know, some of the stuff he got was conversational, you know, through another person. But he said, you know, I'm not giving any names, but I was given names, and you know, some people are not in it, and some people are. And he said, but yeah, it was shocking, absolutely.
I would
Um,
assume that every A-list actor,
yeah,
every A-list actor, anyone that's relevant is
mm,
part of it.
yeah,
You know,
it's
people like Celine Dion with that marketing of clothing that she had with skulls on the baby's clothing and stuff. Really? That's
yeah. I
great.
saw something with her a couple days ago. It was pretty trippy. I'd never noticed it before with her, and I was just like, whoa, that doesn't even make any sense, you know.
Mhm.
What was I going to ask you? So, like, for you personally, you've been doing this a long time, you know, so that and you've got a really good handle on the external, the internal, you know, because you just have to spend a little time with you and know that. I mean, as soon as I'm in your energy field, you can feel it. Have you had any type of uptick in? I mean, I'm not sure how you experience things, but I mean, like dimensional experiences or visitation or just, you know, just getting messages through whatever clair there is. Have you seen an uptick in your own experience as the years gone on?
As the years gone on, it's weird. I see things before they happen. They just come.
Mm,
And, you know, I saw the event, what happens during the event. It's amazing.
yeah.
What happens? Well, in this particular vision, I saw myself standing in front of myself, and then this white light floods the planet. And when that happens, you feel this unconditional love to a magnitude that you've never felt before. And imagine the thing, the people, the people that you love the most. For me, it's my daughter.
Yeah.
Um, Magnify that love that you feel a million times, and I'm probably underestimating it a million times. That's the love you're going to feel when this event
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So
And then, of course, obviously, you've had something of an uptick because you've met and talk about prophecy. So you met the girl of your dreams, no pun intended.
literally,
But
yeah.
now, what about that? I mean, because that was a powerful thing I saw when you came out and made that post, and I was like, whoa, you know. Then I went to your YouTube, and I
Yeah.
saw the work that you were supporting of hers. Have you expanded? Have you noticed anything? Has it been a whirlwind? But have you expanded since you guys connected?
Well, what we're really looking forward to doing is working one-on-one, kind of like what you and Morgan do,
Yeah,
yeah, together in the flesh and making those connections. We both do our own little versions of white magic. So
right on,
whatever we can do to help humanity, I think that's,
right on.
we're here to make a huge difference, just like you and Morgan are doing.
Yeah, man.
So,
So, how long? I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but I mean, are y'all geographically challenged or?
yes, right now,
Yeah,
but we're making plans. I'm hoping to go out there on June, at the beginning of June.
right on. Oh,
So, and
that's what I was going to say too on your comment too about the indictments. I don't know if you've ever followed Franco Di Nicolo's work. He started with Collective Evolution. He's been around a long time too. I mean, a real long time. But and he's actually just put out a series on YouTube. He's got like 18 or I want to say about 22 videos he's putting out free. It's amazing, 1 to 2 hours. But anyway, he has been saying, he comes on the show about twice a month. He's been saying for quite some time, he's called it pretty accurately through the current time, but the whole time since I remember, since like December, January, he said when we get to June, it's gonna like blow up. Like, you know, it's not even gonna look anything. And then of course he says the same thing you do, but by the end of the year, it's even gonna get more expansive.
yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people are feeling that. We're getting some of us, I call them first responders, many of us get the same message. Some of us just get it a little bit earlier than others, and we put it out there, and then everyone else gets the same message. It's kind of like, the invention of the light bulb or electricity. It's invented at the same time all around the planet. Just one person happens to come out with it a little bit quicker than the other person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like that video, because we just happened to be, just chilling out before we went to bed last night. So it must have been late, and so I just happened to flip on the phone and I saw Carrie Kay with Jason, and so we flipped it on and listened to 3 or 4 minutes of it, and then Morgan said, "Yeah, he's talking about what we just got." So yeah, to your point, yeah, and that's what I said at the top of the show. A lot of, especially, it's been very evident this year. Like every month, there's more and more stuff lining up, and everybody's kind of coming out and explaining it in their own words, but it's all starting to align, which is a great sign as well.
It's kind of like the convergence of timelines right now, where it doesn't matter what you choose, you're pretty much going to be guided in this direction right here. here we are. Right?
Yeah. And then of course the sharing of the experiences, like, IN5D chat, spirit chat, you've got, I don't even know, because I've never counted, but I mean, there's got to be, at times I've seen it, 15 people, 20 people, and everybody's just telling their story, man. Nobody's selling anything. Everybody's just saying, man, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling. And to me, that's where the gold is. I mean, other than our personal shadow work, being able to talk to people in that truth frequency, just, across the board, the dimensional stuff, I was vomiting all day yesterday and all the things that go with it.
It's funny. I see some of our regulars in YouTube right now, Desiree and Gary and Fifth World. A bunch of people are in there right now, just chatting away. So yeah, hi to everyone that's
thank you very much, because we usually get about 30 people. There's 60 people, so that's got to be your group, man. But I'm glad to be integrating the audiences again, and I actually look forward to collaborating more. I know we're going to do it.
You know what, Todd? I was talking to Allie about this. There's really no competition in our genre, because we're all on the same. How can you be competing against somebody on the same team?
Yeah, you can't.
We're all in this together.
You can't. It's like a big buffet, right?
Yeah. Plenty of food for everyone.
Yeah. I've been watching that. We just got through watching that series Vikings, the History Channel series, which was actually pretty cool. We watch series to process and just let things integrate. But they have these, anytime there's having a big meeting or victory, they have these big feast. And that's what I see it like. We're all in this big room, just chilling out, drinking, dancing, laughing, joking, and living and loving, and it's a frequency that's expanding now. One of the things that caught my attention last night in this Linda Lee post was she was talking about in respect to, how things are changing, that it's everybody's affected. Same thing Jason's saying. We're at a point now where energetically everybody's going to get it, right? Kind of like, I guess, in an energetic sense, the flash or the event. But I also was thinking, well, how could that happen? Because there seems to be a parallel, and that parallel could very well be the indictments and some of the other stuff that's coming out.
Yeah, could well be. I'm just looking in the Zoom chat, JW, we were talking about how there's really like no competition here. JW is agreeing, no competition. And it raises consciousness, frequency, and vibration around the world. And what I was talking about, with Allie, I think what I want to do is reach out to everybody that's in this genre and to have everybody create one page on their website that dedicates it to links to similar websites. Like you'll create a 728 by 90 banner and like a little paragraph write-up, and then everybody will do that with one another. That way we overcome the whole shadow banning BS that all of us are going through right now. And we're sharing amongst ourselves.
Because and it is, if you have like that shotgun approach, it's like a machine gun shotgun combination, because they're pulling, I mean, stuff's getting pulled, I mean, it's getting pulled. Last night I went to YouTube and I searched verbatim, WikiLeaks drops 20, such and such date, and there wasn't one video on it. And I know there had been one or two, but I guess they pulled them and then somebody will put them back up.
another thing, you probably get this as well. People are being unsubscribed to your
Yeah.
channel. I had a person on my last spirit chat that said that he was unsubscribed to my, and I had no part of that, obviously, but total subscribers here on YouTube has been 153,000 for like over like 2 years or something like that, and dropping, which
It's
is
dropping.
impossible because I know that I'm bringing more and more people aboard, but they keep unsubscribing more and more people, even
Yeah.
more people that I'm bringing aboard.
Yeah, I've got some of that. I get it every now and then. I get a nasty message, but most of the time people are nice about it, and they'll think I unfriended them, or and notifications. I mean,
Yep.
and yeah, it's there, and you just keep plugging away. Somehow or another, I know that it's whatever we're doing like this right now, because of the amount of energy in this vortex that we've created, that we're just part of with these 100 and 200 people here, that it's energetically affecting the entire grid, even though they might be doing this or this might be happening. We're not. It's not a fruitless initiative. This has been going on a long, long time, especially with people like you, because you not only have been doing it a long time, like Morgan's been in it like 20 years, but you've been very public since what, like 2008, 2010, something like
Yeah.
that.
2009.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. I mean, you were interviewing George. I go to your website. I go to your YouTube and look at some of the old videos. You had a lot of interesting people on there. Like Jordan
Yeah.
Maxwell, and
I think
quite a
three
few other
times.
people.
Yeah, three
Yeah,
times with Jordan, or at least, yeah, Dolores Cannon, bunch of, a bunch of names that are out there. But you know what? Like what you were talking about before,
I agree.
just having people on that don't necessarily have that name, but they all
Right.
have amazing stories that you've never heard before. And we all have these amazing stories. That's why I love the spirit chat, because
Yeah.
I have a chance to ask people. I always ask it, everyone that comes in, how does your awakening begin? You usually ask your people that
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
What led to you? What advice do you have? Stuff like that. I love, and chances are everyone's got at least 2, 3, 4, 10, 11 great stories to tell.
No
So
kidding, right? No
yeah,
kidding.
so it's
But and
part of my
and
job
then
is getting them out there. Yeah.
like, absolutely. And then there's the whole thing about you're still having this human experience. Like you can't de-emphasize that. Like it's like it's all that stuff is coming together now,
Yes.
and it's like an empowered human is coming to the surface now, and it's contagious as hell. I mean, I'm seeing it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy to put a negative spin on it, like the mainstream media does, but that's not in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
looking at the bright side of everything because I just feel it. I honestly feel it doesn't matter what the crap is going on around us, that we're heading in the right direction. And the ending, we've already won.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've already won.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was saying about that Linda Lee. I didn't finish that thought, but one of the things in that transmission she talked about was that and she spoke in a very global way. Like, this is a message that everybody's getting, all governments, all institutions, they've got to comply. Universal laws coming in, kicking ass, taking names, that these types of programs will be mainstream. And to me, anything besides what's considered mainstream media now would be better. You know what I mean? So like, just even going that direction, even when that stuff starts coming down and we start to see real information passed on, I think that's going to have a huge effect on, just like it has in our light worker communities. A lot of people's ascensions have rapidly accelerated due to what you're talking about with Spirit Chat N5D.
Let's put it out there that these mainstream media television stations go down and they need programming out there, and they come to Soulgy and N5D, and we can get our shows on the mainstream
That's
media.
right. It's funny you say
Better
that,
information
because
out there.
yeah, last night when we connected last night, sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't, or sometimes she'll channel or whatever you want to call it. And but sometimes we don't say anything. Last night we didn't say anything. And I was sitting there and I said, okay, what do what can I do? And then all of a sudden it came in and I started watching this movie, and the movie was like I was like in a vehicle driving down a road, but that was the metaphoric part of it. And I was watching the manifestation or the further manifestation of my work, of Soulgy, of Morgan and I, what we're doing. And it was so seamless. It was so easy. There was no forcing. There was nothing. It just showed me boom, 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 boom. And it was a very positive ascension, slant to it.
Well, it'd be nice just to have to show up to work and everyone else takes care of the publicizing and the arrangement of
Right.
this.
Right.
And
Well, that makes sense that everybody, everybody gravitates to their specialty, and that
yeah,
makes total sense because I know this year and our future beyond it is all about co-creation and collaboration. I'm still trying to get my arms around what happened with with your dream come true. Um, and I'm just wondering, that's huge. I've met a couple of people that have done that. I met this one lady that actually drew a picture of the guy, and then 5 years later meets him, and I met the guy, and I'm looking at the picture going, "Wow, that's just crazy." But did you get any? Have you gotten any intel, or do you have any perspective on why these couples are coming together and what their role is and that type of thing?
I have a suspicion. I know that in my past lives, like I had one that was at the end of Atlantis, where I was a scientist in charge of the genetic modification of plants, animals, and insects, and I made these hideous creatures.
Wow.
And I wasn't proud of what I did. And I remember as Atlantis sank and I was underwater, I could see my creatures that were sinking along with me, metaphorically, right? And they were hideous, they were ugly. And I kept telling myself, we can't let this happen again. We can't let this happen again. But yet it's happening again right now. Another past life that I had was during the Spanish Inquisition. I was a Mayan elder, just an old man. I wasn't Kukulkan or anyone famous or anything like that. I was just an old man. And it felt like we were in like the Belize area of Mexico, but it was during the Spanish Inquisition, and the Christians had gone through the town and they just torn and beaten everything in sight, and everything was tattered and shattered. And they threatened to kill me if I didn't agree to convert to Christianity. So I lied. And I said, sure. But no, I ended up passing on my knowledge to my children, my grandchildren, and my great grandchildren. So flash forward to now, I'm seeing this pattern. When do I come back? I come back at major epochs in time.
Right.
And I think a lot of us do that too. It's not just me, it's a lot of people are doing this. We're all coming back at these major epochs in time. And this is one of them right now. It's huge.
Yeah, that resonates totally.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
And and I think another thing that, man, I'm totally like getting chills the whole time we're talking. So that telling in tones going off in my ears. But the thing is, like, so much is coming on board. So much of the stuff that we've been had access to, and some people, to different degrees, like past memories, skills and abilities. But the memories, I think, are going to be a really big part of what we experience, because that's like profound. I mean, we've all had like these memories come back of like a trauma and how impactful that is, kind of in a bad way. But I mean, imagine, and I think actually Morgan picked this up a couple of days ago in one of the connections we had, and it was in regard to that the information from these past lives, or whatever you want to call them, is the code, is the point, I guess, not to get caught up in this and that, but to actually apply, like you have it, like in that example of the Atlantis, because you actually said to yourself and remembered, hey, we can't let this happen again. So energetically, you're doing the same thing you were doing before. In my opinion, you're creating from energy, consciousness, even
You
though
know,
it's not as ugly as it was there.
no, no, no. A fascinating thing happened though the other day. Allie had a past life where she was shot in her left eye with an arrow. And yeah, I just got to cough real quick. So, yeah, she had this past life where she was shot in the left eye in the arrow. Now, if you know anything about QHHT, anything that happens on your left side is your past life, and on your right side is your current life. So, if you got shot in the arrow, there's something in your past life that happened. Now, the other day, both of our left eyes were watering, just our left eyes, and we were constantly just rubbing the eyes. And it was funny because I was either picking up on it or because we're twins, maybe we both experienced it at the same time. I don't know, but it's coming together. You know, it's
Yeah.
all and to reflect that at the same time. We've had so many things like that. It's everything is going on at once between us identically.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you been like on a fast track since when you guys connect? I mean, like, because this is happening around the world. I mean, there are people that are making connections, and uh, you know, you can't argue with it. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the foundational part of it is the past connections and the mission. But have
Yeah,
you
there's
fast tracked since? Have you guys
oh,
fast tracked?
I think so. I mean, everything. She's a workaholic, just like me. But there's silly little bizarre intricacies that we'll be doing without knowing the other one's doing the same thing. Like one time, I had a pendulum in my hand. It was out of screen and it was going around in a circle, in huge circles. It's doing that right now.
Hmm.
But she was doing the same thing at the same time. She goes, and she mentioned it. My pendulum's going in huge circles. I go, so is mine. I lifted mine right up. I had no idea. I had no idea she was doing that as well. I mean, little simple things like that we're doing constantly, mirroring each other, exactly mirroring each other.
So like when you connected with her and y'all started going back and forth, how long did it take before that soul recognition came in? I guess it was already there for you, actually, right?
Well, I knew, but I couldn't. You can't come out and say, "Hey, you're my twin flame." You can't do that. So I actually, I would interact with her, and I would, you know, I had to have her see the recognition first,
Yeah.
and yeah, eventually, yeah, she saw that because I said all I said was, "I believe in you," and she
Yeah.
goes, "Wow, that just shook something within me." I
Yeah.
go, what? And she talked about it. She's like, a remembrance.
Yeah.
So there's no way I wasn't going to tell her anything or give her a clue or a hint, you know, that she was it, but she had to remember on her own.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's funny because I know when I met Morgan, it was immediate, and I told her, and I didn't know what I was talking about because I hadn't been in the game like you had. I was just
right?
coming off the streets, you know, and you know, she didn't show me any daylight for like 2 years. She never. And then one day she told me, she goes, "Oh yeah, I knew. I just didn't tell you. I couldn't." And I was like,
Okay, let me ask you, what's your sun, moon, and rising?
my daughter just did that for me the other day, and I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull that up. Uh, yeah, and while we're doing that, Morgan says you're all lit up and shining. She also wanted to know if you guys have you guys merged? You know, people talk about merging, Helioscamos, that type of thing. Typically, when you're not in the same space, you know, it seems to happen a lot.
I would think so. I would say yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look that up and I'll tell you. Well, obviously, I'm Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Okay, and so there's
Fire sign.
the. So what was it? Oh, Capricorn was the ascending.
Rising. Okay.
Okay, yeah, it was the ascending. And what's the other one?
Your moon.
Okay, so okay, Capricorn. My moon's in Capricorn, and my ascendant rising is Virgo, and I'm a
Okay.
Sagittarius. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm a triple Libra. The reason I asked that was because you know, being a triple Libra, everyone thinks that Libras are all about balance, but
Yeah.
what it actually is we're constantly seeking balance. That's why I'm a workaholic. I don't know what balance is, but what
Yeah.
I do know is you know, I constantly question things, and what Librans do, we can't make up our minds about anything. What do you want for dinner? Chicken or fish? I don't know. Because a lot of things don't matter. But what we do is we look at things from a larger perspective than most people. And we're looking at how is this going to affect multiple timelines? Is this in the world's greatest interest? This simple little decision I'm going to make, is it going to affect any other timelines, alternate realities and stuff like that? That's why we have a tough time making decisions. So I can't make up my mind about anything. But as soon as I saw Alison, I knew it was her. There was no doubt in my mind.
And how long ago did this happen?
Well, when did we have that meetup?
January?
January.
Oh, wow. So you got
Yeah.
some time in, man. Ascension time is not like regular linear time. Ascension, 3 or 4 months is like 10 years.
Yeah, but we didn't actually talk until the end of March when I had
Oh,
that reading. So
oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And
so you didn't talk at all.
escalated quick. Well, a little, just like,
Yeah,
little chit chat on,
Wow, that was a good move.
yeah.
If I'd have
So,
known what energy work was, I would have ordered a session with Morgan the first time. I guess I did have one. Actually, we merged the first time.
yeah, yeah.
But,
That was
yeah.
great. Yeah. She
So
gave
I
me an
mean, like,
awesome reading. As a matter of fact, her readings, she did a reading. She kind of had a sense about me anyway. And she did a reading beforehand. She sent me that reading, and it basically said she was going to meet me. And um, then she did a reading afterwards. And she's still at that point. She's telling everybody, no, 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 I'm not having another relationship. I don't want a relationship. But I knew it's just,
isn't that the
yeah.
prerequisite though for a lot of these couples that when we've had quite a few of them in the last few weeks on it, and they're both like, and we were the same way. Like, I'm not doing it again. I mean,
Right.
I'm fine being single, and I was celibate, she was celibate. I mean, and then boom, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it seems to be like almost like a cleansing or a
Mm-hmm.
incubation period or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. And, it's just magical how it does happen when you're least expecting it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
and I think
scrolling through your friends, not even looking.
yeah, right. I knew I recognized her too when I saw that picture. I was like, I know her. And I'm like looking, but yeah, and I think too, they're one of the what seems to be, unless somebody can tell me something else, seems to be the one thing that like moves the ball up the field, regardless of whether we're talking about meeting our partner or just having more ease and grace, and that's just continuing to integrate and balance within ourselves, which is interesting because it seems like it's gotten easier, but the polarities have gotten wider apart, you know so it's like, how do I marry this dark stuff over here with this pure light over here? I mean, how do you do that? And it's like every day the energy's
Keep
further
it simple.
supporting us.
Don't even worry about it. It just
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Simple.
That's what I think. To a degree, I think that and actually Vera Ingeborg said something to me on a show last year about the time I did one with you on my show. And I kept telling her, like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that, because I used to be a workaholic. I'm like fighting it still a little bit now, but I'm doing pretty good. But I kept telling her, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. I can feel it. She goes, what you're feeling is the alignment. So just chill out. You're just aligning with it. And that's really made more and more sense to me since that day, especially this year, especially since we've been in Florida. Florida's been really, really nice, in terms of the progress and the expansion.
Well, it's good for the psyche too. It's sunny every day and you
Yeah.
just feel good when you wake up.
Yeah. I had some friends that were like inviting us, north. Doesn't matter what part of the country, as long as it's north. I'm like, I don't want to go unless I have to. I don't want to go anywhere. I love
No.
being in the sun.
Yeah.
When they put that lockdown a couple of Sundays ago, I went out there. I just went out and walked out there, and it was beautiful, man. There was a family of 4 or 5 playing ball over here. There was a couple of couples taking a stroll. I mean, we're the 99.99%. How are they going to stop us,
Right.
energetically and otherwise?
I hear you.
So I know you got a show, you got to go. I wanted to just let everybody know. Now, Gregg just said, if you didn't catch it, he's got IN5D. It's been around for a long, long time. It's got a strong presence in Facebook, strong presence in YouTube. He puts in a good 3-4 hours a day, from what I can tell. And I check on him a lot because I like to pop in on some of his spirit chats. So he has these spirit chats a lot of times in the evening. He's about to have one now in about 5 minutes. It's a really cool place. Same type of frequency that we have here at Soulspeaks, where people are supported and they can share their experiences. Another way to put it is where all the crazy people go. But no, it's actually it's really, really down to earth, and if you want to get a shot of it, you might want to check it out in a few minutes, or maybe tonight or tomorrow night when he has another show. But I wanted to ask you before you go, how do you, this is just my curiosity, how do you do that? Like, do you go into it? I know sometimes you put a title, we're going to talk about this, but I also noticed that you just it just kind of goes, right? I mean, is it a lot like your attitude towards scheduling, just kind of see what happens?
Yeah. I write little bullet notes and that's about it.
Yeah.
and I just wing it.
Right on. Right
That's
on.
it. Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
man, I love getting together with you. I look forward to collaborating with you, and I hope I get to see you before we leave the state, whenever that may be. Could be very soon. I
Yeah,
don't know, but man, I love you. Thank you so
you
much
too,
for what you're
brother.
doing. I can't wait to visit with you again in person, and for the third time, and see what we can do, what we can create together. But thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank you. Check out in5d.com when you get a chance. Also, check out Alison's website too, Psychic Alley,
Psychic.
ALLY, psychicalley.net.
I'm gonna
Check
go to
that
that
out
one
as
now.
well.
I'm gonna go subscribe to that one now.
Awesome.
All right, brother. You take care.
You as well.
Awesome.
Take care.
All right.
Love you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.